Good morning, attention, all sexy people, and that means every single one of you, because you guys are super sexy. As I'm drinking my coffee, I come outside, and I really want to make a video before the day starts. Right now, it's around 8. And I want to talk a little bit about PALANTIR. First of all, people say, hey, Adam, why do you make so many PALANTIR videos? And I'm going to tell you why. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's super fun to talk about PALANTIR. It's relatively easy because there's always content to be made, and I have a huge stake in PALANTIR. So even if I wasn't a YouTuber, I would still be doing all this research for myself, because if you're not doing this research and you're not up the ass of the company that you're invested in, especially the amount that I have and whatever that amount is to you, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So what I want to say is, anybody that has an investment, specifically a large investment in anything, you better do your research. Would you invest in a piece of property, in a piece of real estate, without knowing the neighborhood, the demographics, the mortgage rates, your realtor, do a construction? No, right? Like, there's means and methods to everything. So that's one of the reasons why I love doing PALANTIR content, because it's my own investment and I love doing research. And it's fun. There's always content, right? I could only talk about PALANTIR and I'm going to never run out of things to say. So that's why I talk about PALANTIR a lot. Now, let's get right into it. By the way, shout out to Brooklyn. This is my own design, by the way. Brooklyn, one way. Yeah, I can make this in any borough or any city or anything, whatever. So, PALANTIR. I was making a live yesterday, and there's a couple of things that I want to go over today. One, the NHS contract. So, there's some misconception, in my opinion, that the NHS contract is not baked in. The price movement is not factored in for the NHS contract, and I think that the PALANTIR shares will absolutely go berserk with the NHS contract actually being announced. Two, people are minimizing the effect of this NHS contract in terms of the value of it. Guys, 600 million is 600 million. Don't let nobody say that this is not going to move the needle. This is all very, very important, and I'll get to in just a moment. So any number is important. 600 million, regardless if it's 3, 5, 7-year contract, it's a massive, massive contract. Stupidity that I'm reading out there is that this has no effect on the price of PALANTIR. Everything's baked in, and it's not a big contract at the end of the day. It's actually a much smaller contract than everybody thinks that it is. It's absolutely absurd, moronic, idiotic, and just plain dumbass. This is going to allow PALANTIR to show what a sales team it has. And against all adversity, against all odds, and literally everyone hates PALANTIR. Guys, this was not just postponed from September to October. This is already postponed 6 months. So the postponement is at least 7 months now, where PALANTIR was the front runner this whole time, and they're doing everything possible not to give PALANTIR this contract and find a solution. What happened to the consortium that couldn't compete with PALANTIR? But that's not either here or there. To show that PALANTIR can actually get this contract is huge. To talk about jumping hurdles and going through hoops and being a thoroughbred show horse, so to speak, is massive, guys. Massive. Huge deals. So we have that the price is not baked in for the NHS contract. We have that this is going to move the needle in terms of revenue. And we have that this shows PALANTIR is able to overcome adversity. And it's going to open up a lot more doors throughout the world because, other countries, other huge organizations are going to be like, wow, PALANTIR is the shit. And even though we think there's going to be a lot of pushback, like we had the NHS, maybe for their certain application or their certain country, wow, PALANTIR will still get the job done and we're still going to, move forward. And finally, PALANTIR can actually fix the NHS. It can actually make it better. 2 years ago, PALANTIR was not in healthcare. 1 year ago, PALANTIR had no hospital beds in the U.S. under PALANTIR Foundry for Hospitals. Now PALANTIR Foundry for Hospitals has 16% of all U.S. hospital beds. Last quarter was only 13%. So we're moving in the right direction. That means PALANTIR works in healthcare system. NHS system is no different than U.S. healthcare system. I know the dynamics are different, but I'm saying the way it's done, nurses, doctors, empty beds, outgoing patients, inbound patients, right? Things like that. So these are massive, massive deals. And I find it interesting that Bloomberg reports that this is a done deal. Yahoo literally reported that PALANTIR closes NHS deal. Peter Thiel, Donald Trump donor, got this deal, right? Something like that. Whatever. I don't care. But like Main Street or mainstream media is now reporting about it, which is great. And you saw the price of PALANTIR was up like 5.5% yesterday. Currently pre-market, Palantir is green, slightly green, which is great. Massive news. I want to talk about a couple more things about Palantir. Also, there was an announcement of PWC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. They're considered a big four accounting firm. Actually, before I go into it, guys, let me know down below. Do you think the price is priced in for the NHS contract? Do you think that this is going to move the needle? And do you think this is going to open up doors in the future for Palantir? Just let me know in the comments down below. Please humor me. By the way, I designed this mug as well. This is HBAR, Hedera, Hashgraph, Hello Future, and this is the actual gossip to gossip protocol for Hedera, HBAR, Hedera, Hashgraph. If you guys are crypto heads. So, the PWC now. PWC is a big four accounting firm, but they're essentially a consulting company for everybody around the world. They're a massive company, and they essentially try to get into anything possible to consult their customers, their clients, and by consulting, they bring in value and they extract a lot of revenue for themselves. That's, the give and take. They take revenue, they take money, but they give you additional revenue and make you better. And they're increasing their Palantir partnership. So first it was Palantir, Foundry, and PWC. Now it's Palantir, Foundry, PWC, and Palantir AIP. And I made the video yesterday in my live. And it's interesting because it's not just one industry. Digital ordering, I believe they said, and it was like literally manufacturing. It was like literally 8 or 9 different industries that they're going to be using this Foundry AIP stack for PWC. It's almost like PWC is going to be a de facto offerer of Palantir. So they're going to give you the benefits of Palantir Foundry, Palantir AIP, even though you're not signed up with Palantir Foundry, Palantir AIP. That's what I understood. By the way, the OG CodeStrap, who's one of the 2 ambassadors for Palantir throughout the entire world, is working with PWC to a degree. I don't know if he's a consultant, if he's completely working for them, and this is neither here or there. I'm just mentioning it. Shout out to CodeStrap, who understands Palantir probably better than almost anybody else in this entire world at the highest level. Now, those are massive news. The NHS deal, the PWC, and anytime we're expanding, this is good. And listen, a lot of people can say, well, they're kind of competing with Palantir because, well, no, the more they're giving Palantir services to customers, the more they're going to extract or increase their contracts with Palantir in order to be able to do that. So that's very, very important. Plus, if you introduce this to your clients, maybe the clients are going to go to Palantir after and say, hey, now we're this company, now we're such a bigger company, it makes sense for us to actually get Palantir Foundry, Palantir AIP. Listen, at the end of the day, this is more marketing, more public relations, and PwC actually reported an AIP con in the first one, if I'm not mistaken. So this is massive, massive news. Look, Ahmed puts out a post. He's earlier. Shout out to Ahmed. Shout out to Arnie. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Palantir, Trillion, Palantir Vision, Palantir, one more Palantir channel, Palantir Research. Shout out to Palantir Research, of course. Shout out to all the Palantir content creators if I missed any of that. Matt, shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much. So Ahmed puts out a tweet earlier today. Will Palantir ever hit $11? And I answered, I don't think so. In 2024, I believe that the new $10, $11 is going to be $15. For the longest time, I said that Palantir is fairly valued at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 overvalued, and 10, 11, 12, 13, it is undervalued. Now I'm buying more shares at 15. Now I started nibbling on the shares. I didn't buy anything crazy, maybe like 100 shares or something like this, 150, so something like this, small numbers relatively. But I do have a cash secured put for 3,000 shares right now. So if Palantir is 1550 or less by the end of the week, I will buy 3,000 more shares. If it's not, I collect the premium, which was almost $1,000, and I'll do the same thing next week to try to get Palantir shares cheaper, and I'll just keep collecting the premium. I'm not diving in and dying to buy the shares of Palantir at any price, but if I get a good deal on them, I am willing to buy. But before, I wasn't doing that, because I think that Palantir now is the best possible value that you can get. And I don't think there's going to be a much better value. Let me explain why. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Don't follow my advice. Do whatever you want. I'm just literally talking. This is literally not financial advice. This is purely entertainment education. Palantir's revenue last quarter was 13%. This is the lowest possible revenue we've had ever, if I'm not mistaken, since going public. The year-over-year growth is supposed to be 16% for the whole year. I believe this is going to be the lowest we've had since going public. Where am I going with this? Our growth rate in terms of revenue is the lowest point we've had, essentially. But our growth rate in terms of products, interest, and total addressable market growing in specifically artificial intelligence, data, machine learning is growing exponentially. So Palantir's ability to capture market share is becoming easier because we are subject matter experts, and people are going to see that in the future very soon. And we are subject matter experts in an increasingly growing field. This is like the hottest field there is. This is like cryptocurrency was back in 2017 up until 2019, right? Like a hype point. And I've showed on Google Trends before. So that's why I believe right now Palantir is a great buy. And I haven't said this for the longest time. I do believe that Palantir is a good buy. Now, if it hits 13 or 14, Palantir is starting to get a really good buy. Why? Like inflation, right? When inflation was at 9%, it was so easy to get it to 8%, 7%, 6%, 5%, right? 4%. But now that inflation is around that 3% mark, it's very, very hard to get it down lower because your base case or from where you're working is already so low. It's the opposite. Now that Palantir is at 13% revenue growth, it's not that hard to get it up to 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. To get it to 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 is exponentially harder than getting it from 16, 17, 18, 19. So 16% to 20% is a lot easier than going from 25% to 29% or 30% to 34%. That's why I believe that there's going to be a huge growth spur for Palantir. I believe that 15 is going to become a new base case in 2024. If everything is going according to plans, don't forget, guys, there's a super secret weapon that most people don't know. Besides for the S&P 500 inclusion, which is going to boost up the price. We're the official partner to rebuild Ukraine. And as long as Ukraine is standing in some sort of way and it doesn't completely disappear, there is going to be a rebuilding process that is spearheaded by BlackRock and JP Morgan. Now, I don't care about what you think about those companies. All I care about right now is in the context of Palantir. And BlackRock happens to be the second or third largest holder of shares for Palantir. JP Morgan Palantir for their software. The connection to BlackRock is here. Now, Palantir was named an official partner to rebuild Ukraine by the Ukraine ministry, by Zelensky, not by Adam Bergman or Ahmet or Arnie or Matt or Ether Squared. This is an official statement that most people are starting to forget. They're going to be rebuilding Ukraine in 3 ways. Make them a digital technology hub in Europe. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but that's one of the goals. The second goal is infrastructure, rebuild Ukraine, the actual infrastructure of Ukraine, roads, buildings, bridges, things like that, power lines, shit like that. And 3, defense of Ukraine. Think about that. 1, 2, 3. This is literally what Palantir does today in all fields. Palantir is not just a technology company that gives you ability with their software to become a tech hub and build on top of their software, but it will aid Ukraine or you in your needs to become a technology company, a technology forward company, a technology forward government, a technology first, so on and so forth, like they're going to be doing with the NHS and the Federated Data Platform, right? Don't sleep on that. And Palantir is not just a company that can help a construction company or a major project like the COVID vaccine distribution or Rio Tinto with digging, mining, but it will help you with your specific infrastructure. You see, Palantir is super diverse, and we're in more than 50 different verticals and fields, as per Cheyenne Sanker, right? It's not me, the CTO, COO of Palantir. Big things ahead. The media is starting to catch up. The fact that they're giving Palantir credit for the NHS contract without it being officially out is bonkers, guys. I put out the video yesterday. It's a short 1.5-minute clip. Check it out. Of Yahoo literally saying Palantir won the contract. Bloomberg coming out and say, yeah, Palantir pretty much won the contract. Pretty crazy. Meanwhile, they were shitting on Palantir literally for the last 2 years. Up until 3 months ago, everybody shitted on Palantir. Now Palantir is the new best of everything. Even Kramer curses us all the time, is praising Palantir. And I know he's a flip-flopper, but you get what I'm saying, right? Guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys want to become channel members to support my coffee addiction so that I can make videos for you, please become a channel member. $3 a month. YouTube takes $1. I keep $2. And I do have exclusive content for my channel members. Please just bear with me. I'm building up my business again, so I'm losing a little bit of time. But I will put out 8 more content videos out, exclusive for members, specifically on options, covered calls, cash secured puts, explaining how I made $1,000 with my cash secured puts for Palantir. Thank you. Have a great day.